I think going back to one of the disagreements, going to Jessica here, I think in your initial message, you said that Brian said plastic surgery is a mental illness, and you wanted to come have a conversation about that. You work in a cosmetics office or plastic surgeon's office.
Yes.
My view is, generally speaking, women who, and I suppose men too, who elect to get purely cosmetic surgery, I do think it pretty strongly correlates to mental illness. You seem to disagree. I'm happy to have a conversation about it.
Well, I guess so. Purely cosmetic. There's two different reasons people get plastic surgery. One is vanity, and they actually call it Snapchat dysphoria, where people are basically trying to get surgery to look like the Snapchat version of themselves. So in that case, yes, I would agree with you, just because those people are nightmares to deal with. But obviously, my office, we're very unique. We deal with mostly men, which we don't even do Botox there. Most plastic surgery are all women and boobs and everything. But I don't know if you guys know what gynecomastia is. So it is plastic surgery. It is considered cosmetic.
Sure.
It's not covered under insurance unless you needed like a full chest lift. But
is this for the T stuff?
Gynecomastia.
No,
it can be, because a lot of guys, they associate it with being on testosterone, which it can. But we do a lot of teenagers. We do a lot of 12-year-olds.
No, I mean the T in LGBT.
Oh, no, we don't do that. We don't do any gender.
Okay.
Yes. No, we don't. I think unless they've changed it, I think that the surgeons have to have special insurance if they do gender affirming care. We don't do that. Gynecomastia is basically enlarged male breasts. So we'll do it on teenagers, like little boys that are literally like so little body fat, and then they have puffy nipples or like almost B-cup breast. And the stuff that I see, that's why when I saw the mental illness, I see boys literally taping their chest with duct tape just so they don't get bullied or made fun of.
But that does have a lot to do with estrogen, testosterone, this type of thing.
It does. Yeah, it could be genetic. It can be hormones. You can get it from steroid use. Obviously, like the teenagers aren't on steroids.
But so what? Okay, so what? This is typically gynecomastia. Is the right word anormal?
Yeah.
It's not.
It is abnormal.
That it is not the normal manifestation of breast tissue in men.
No, and most men do have some breast tissue, but this is an enlarged, so it's literally like a mouse.
And it can stem from a medical problem. Such as.
It's hormonal imbalance, genetics. It can be caused by medication.
Yeah, and this hormonal imbalance is causing them to look a way that is not typical of men.
Yeah, and the stuff that we hear, it's so sad. These kids get called like bitch tits, and the stuff is really, really awful. But I've seen a different side of how it really affects men, especially when it comes to dating.
Well, wouldn't you liken this to like a burn victim or something like this? If somebody was a burn victim, Brian's been pretty clear that he thinks that cosmetic surgery, which is done for the purpose of reintroducing normalcy, rather than some type of bump up into a different classification, is fine. He's basically, that's been his position every single time I've heard him lay it down, in fact.
Yeah.
Okay. The clip I saw, it just said plastic surgery is a mental illness, and I was like, not the type, because
I think he's talking about lip filler, butt lifts, things like this, which are designed specifically to be high-risk beauty enhancements, not a way. So, like, for instance, there are women who are born with a smaller breast than their other breast, right? This is something that's fairly common. I don't think anybody, even people who are against plastic surgery, would be against taking care of that issue for them. That's not problematic. I don't think that that's a fair way to phrase it. He's talking specifically about people who are using cosmetic surgery in order to enhance themselves into what look like plastic monsters.
Yeah, like I said, we don't do Botox or fillers, so I guess I work in a very unique plastic surgery setting. I guess what I'm saying is there's two sides to it, for cosmetic. I think if it's affecting you, if you're trying to become something that you're not because you're just so insecure, sure, obviously there's something mentally going on, but if there's something wrong with you and you're trying to correct something that's abnormal, I don't see a problem with it.
Right, so yeah, when it comes to certain procedures, I don't really have any objections to certain procedures. I think the genesis of plastic surgery actually originated, I think, with even men who went to war and they had severe deformities in their face. They got a bullet to the face, shrapnel, shell to the face, and so their faces were totally deformed. And even if there wasn't necessarily, it wasn't necessarily causing some sort of medical issue. Perhaps they could breathe fine, but their face was severely deformed. It made it difficult for them to maneuver through society. They were looked at, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Even if it was cosmetic in that sense, it was bringing them back to normal or as close to normal as possible. Obviously, plastic surgery has evolved quite a bit, over the years.
Well, let me ask you a question, if you don't mind, Brian, because I'd like to get clarification on this from you too. Let's say that there was a big rally that a guy was at, and a projectile whizzed by his head at lightning speed and put a hole in the side of his face, but a small one. Okay, and then he, being the future president of the United States, pumped his hand up and went, "Yeah!" And there was a plastic surgeon on scene who could tape it together real quick and make it look like no scar, no damage, nothing like that. You wouldn't be against that, right?
No, I would not be against that, no. Because there was an injury, let's say his ear was like flopping off, I think, and actually wouldn't just any surgeon be able to just sew it back together? I don't, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but would you mind if there was some type of like special cosmetic surgeon who came in to make sure that there was very little or limited scarring because this person happens, as the future president of the United States, to be a prominent politician? Would you have even a problem with that?
Yeah, no objections there. My primary objections tend to be these purely vanity cosmetic procedures: BBL, lip filler, lipo, fake breasts, labiaplasty, etc.
As somebody who's had, obviously my boobs done.
Yeah.
If I had to do it again, I definitely wouldn't have, because I went through so much shit. I think it caused more trauma than it did, because for me I was doing more fitness shoots, and I already had big breasts to begin with, and all I wanted was like a little bit of side boob, maybe an upper fuller, and I've had probably 4 or 5 surgeries and I'm still not happy. It led into depression. I was celibate for 5 years because I was like, I don't want to date. So that's how Jess and I actually met. She was my nurse 8 years ago. And
how old were you when you got the...
I was 32 when I first got him, and it was supposed to be my best friend got him, and I wanted him for 10 years, and I was like, you know what, let me just do it. And it's funny because I couldn't even come up with the reason when my mom told me as an adult. My mom's like, I'm like, oh, I'm going to get my boobs done. And he's like, well, you tell your dad. I'm like, no, you tell dad. Literally, I felt like a little kid, telling my dad, oh, I want to get my... He's like, why? I was like, I don't know, I just want him. And there literally wasn't a reason. I didn't need to. Went to many doctors. They told me actually not to get them done, because they said if you're going to do it, you need a lift and implants, because you're going to get, what is it, the double bubble, whatever it's called. So I got them done. I honestly shouldn't have touched them after I got them done the first time, but I was very greedy because I wanted them more natural, and then I was like, well, it's disproportionate to my body. Within, I think, 8 months, I switched them out. Ended up having a hematoma. I had blisters everywhere. I had to have areola tattoos. Had to have multiple surgeries since then. One, it was so much pain because I lift weights at the gym. So when I lift, the harder it gets. And honestly, to this day, I am still not happy. I'm just waiting to get to the goal weight that I want, and I may take them out. And when girls ask me, I'm like, I'm not the one to ask, because I love the way they look, but I feel like there's a part of me that I lost, because for example, even there was a tomboy part of me, or fitness, where I would do push-ups, pull-ups, all those things. I don't really do those anymore because it's just uncomfortable or it's painful. So I feel like it's limited me in many ways, but I don't know, I may be an anomaly, but I definitely regret doing it, because each time I've done it, I've been more dissatisfied than the time before. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, well, Madison back here, her aunt got BBL surgery and she died.
Oh.
Yeah.
Was it sepsis or what happened?
There's a lot of vascularity, so yeah.
But it's just, my purview is that typically, it's probably mental illness.
What about like a neck lift when you're older, and especially for men, because you guys have the button-up shirts and it starts pinching there?
He's like, I'll wear my sweater, hoodie.
I got a beard. I'm chilling.
Don't wear button-ups
But-
too much.
But
So I think everything in moderation. I do agree the cat
wait, so it's
lady stuff.
uncomfortable?
Yeah. So
If a guy has a
I know
button
women
up?
don't have these issues, but the collared shirts on men have like no flexibility. So like a lot of our like business guys will get neck lifts because when they do this, it has this like overhang and it pinches the skin.
I mean,
So there's
if,
a little
if
bit
they're
of
like required in their business endeavors to, they got to wear a suit and it's like causing pain, I suppose I'm fine with that.
so it's the excessive.
But like,
basically,
It can
the-
get
but let me ask
addictive,
you a
though,
question.
that's the thing.
Well, let me ask you a question. For breast implants,
Yeah.
is there any scenario where like it's a woman is in pain and she would need breast implants to prevent her pain? Now I know there's breast reduction. That's not
Right.
really what I'm talking about.
So they use implants, it depends. So they use them for mastectomies after they literally take everything off as a shaper. But those are
Okay,
considered
so she's had
reconstructive.
cancer.
Yeah.
So if I grant that I'm fine with women who've had breast removed for cancer or whatever, if I'm fine with that, but would you agree with me that all the women who are otherwise healthy, who just get fake titties, that's probably for
Nah, yeah, well, for augmentation, it's like I am a bigger fan of if it makes you feel confident. However, like I actually, personal preference, I love small boobs. So I
well,
get jealous
don't you
of those.
have implants yourself?
I had a reduction.
Wait,
So
you had
I
redu-
naturally had really big boobs to start with. So at 22, I had a reduction.
But you have implants?
I have a very small implant. So with the reductions, a lot of times they use it's basically like this big, and it's a shaper just to keep it there so the tissue doesn't pull.
Okay. Oh, so you had a reduction, and then you got implants.
It's at the same time. So they do it.
Yeah.
It's basically to
That's
hold
interesting.
everything.
I've never heard that.
Yeah.
Is that pretty common? Like you got big titties, I'm
yeah.
gonna
I mean,
have a reduction,
yeah.
but put some fake titties. Is that
Well,
common?
it's still smaller than significantly than what they were. It's basically
Okay.
as a shaper more than anything.
Yeah.
I
and
wanted
did
to
you get
be-
that for like you had back pain or
No, I hated big boobs, to be honest. I wanted
hated-
small.
you hate it? Oh,
Yeah. I mean, I'm not that
haven't-
tall, so.
I haven't heard that one before. Okay,
Yeah.
that's interesting. Okay, well, yeah, I don't know.
I feel like the mental illness part of it, it can become addictive because even with me, it's like the pursuit of perfection. That's the part that it can really fuck with you, where you're just constantly chasing it. I mean, I wasn't mentally ill to begin with. I was vain as fuck in that sense, where I wanted bigger boobies, but I think it caused more issues than it solved issues for me.
Yeah, and I think social media is a big thing.
Yeah.
So the numbers, the stats right now, obviously I'm in a more male-dominated industry, but the stats right now for plastic surgery are now going into the 20-year-olds.
Yeah, I feel
it's
like
because of
that's-
social media that
yeah.
they're altering their
I
face.
don't know. It's just like it's sad to me that multiple generations of women have been sold this lie that in order to be beautiful or sexy or attractive or accepted that they need to undergo dangerous, expensive, and unnecessary cosmetic surgeries.
Yeah, I think if you feel like you need to, and just coming from the perspective of dealing with patients, if you feel like that's going to solve your problems, it's not. So, yeah, like I think if you're just doing it to enhance or better yourself, like I'm okay with it. But if
Yeah.
somebody is like depressed and they think this is the answer, they're never happy.
I guess. I just think I think women are good looking without all that. I think actually women who get these procedures make themselves look worse, if I can be honest.
Yeah.
I think the fake titties look bad, the BBL looks bad, the lipo belly looks bad, the lip filler looks bad, what's the other shit that y'all do?
Botox?
The lip filler? Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I'm not expert on the Botox shit, but
Usually the good work though, you really can't tell.
I've never seen like lip filler where you can't tell looking at the
No,
side.
lip filler, I'll
If you look
agree.
at the side
Yeah.
profile, there's always this weird
Yeah,
fucking
no, it
indent in
is.
the lip that
It
just
is.
it doesn't look right. It gives me uncanny valley. I think women are honestly destroying their bodies. Just from like an aesthetic perspective.
No,
I don't
mean,
I
there's
don't
certain
think
procedures I'm not a big fan of. I will agree with you on filler. I actually
Thank you,
don't
Burmese.
like filler probably anywhere.
Yeah.
I have a question
BBL?
for you.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
I know quite a few people who have gone out of the country for these surgeries. What's your opinion on that? I'm just curious. like out of the country surgeons
Yeah.
versus
I mean-
obviously it's way cheaper, right?
I
So-
wouldn't do it only because I don't, it's in the case. So with all surgeries, there's risk and benefits, and in the case there are risks, and sometimes it's not the surgeon error. It could just be how you heal. If you don't speak the language of the country and you don't know the systems, because the medical systems are very different there, you really don't have rights either. Like at least in America, you can sue. There's the medical board. There's certain protocols of safety. So I think that's kind of what you're paying for. I have seen people get really good work somewhere. To me, I wouldn't, because what happens if something does go wrong? For sure.
Wait, I thought with electives you can't sue.
You can if you can prove malpractice.
Yeah, if there's like botched or
Yeah.
malpractice or something. But I don't know. I'm natural body supremacist. Okay, natural body supremacy. All you cosmetic people over here. I'd rather an A cup. Or if
I
no
agree.
boobs.
I agree
I
with
prefer
you
A cup
there.
or no boobs over some
I agree
fake
with you.
titties. I'll take a
I'm
little
with
belly
you
fat
now.
over the lipo belly. Give me a small ass over a BBL. No ass over a BBL.
Well, I'm a
Can you
squat
believe
ass
that?
all day long.
Can you believe? No, but I'll take no ass. I'll take pancake ass over BBL ass.
Oh, yeah.
Give me pancake
sure.
ass over
That I agree
BBL.
That I agree with.
Small upper lip, no upper lip. White girl upper lip, no upper lip, over lip fillers. Give me that. Let's see. Basically, any woman with any of these procedures, however they were before, I prefer them as they were.
I don't disagree with you. I mean, still had the big boobs, and now I have the pain with the big boobs, so it's not as fun.
Also, like just to make it into a dating perspective. I mean, it already is a dating perspective because it's just like what are you physically attracted to, but I think it's actually one. It can, in addition, let's say it's not even a indicator for mental illness, although it could very well be. It is an indicator for vanity. Like that,
Yeah.
you can't argue.
Of course.
Yeah.
And so people who are vain tend to have like a bit more superficial taste. So, okay, is she going to be a financial liability in some way? She's just not even like that. I wouldn't even mesh there.
Yeah.
I wear sweatpants.
You
Yeah,
probably
no.
just see dollar signs.
BBL chicks don't go after guys in sweatpants, okay? They don't do it. They don't do it. There's a mismatch there in terms of vanity. I'm trying to think what else. The other thing is it's a financial liability because like let's say I'm the breadwinner and she has a taste for plastic surgery
very true.
over the course of a lifetime, is that an extra $100,000 that I'm going to have to front? Because
Over
don't you have to
time,
get,
That's
like with breast implants, don't you have to get that redone every 10, 20 years?
Not necessarily. If there's nothing wrong with them, you technically don't now. You used to because they would leak. You do have to get them checked up,
Okay.
every so often, but they're
Okay.
cohesive gel. So again, there's risk to benefits. If there's nothing wrong aesthetically, they're not causing pain, there are no leaks, then you're going to assume the risk of surgery and there's not a lot to gain. So it's up to the surgeon.